Good afternoon and welcome to the ChinWag. Sorry, this one is a little bit late today. I've been away and I've only just got back really, so I thought I'd come into the studio and set up a ChinWag for you. It's very warm out there and I am glowing, I have to say. Got stuck in traffic. However, I'm not here to moan today. Sometimes I nickname this the grumble rather than the ChinWag, which is silly. Did I say it was the 4th of August? Can't remember. Anyway, that's the episode that we're on. And this is about green shoots, or about glasses that are half full rather than half empty. Are you an optimistic person? There's so many things going bad in the world, apparently. We just heard that the interest rate has risen. We've got over here in the UK the cost of living crisis, which is going to cause a lot of hardship. Fuel prices are going to go up and everybody is prepared for doom and gloom. There's even a hosepipe ban down here in Sussex coming from next week, I think it is. So everything looks pretty horrid. However, are there some things that we can actually celebrate and say, do you know what? Life isn't as bad as everybody's making out. The world isn't so corrupt. There are some good things, and that's what this one is about. I had time in my van as I drove back from Titchfield in Hampshire, where I was staying with Julia in her caravan, and driving back here, stuck in traffic, thinking, I'm stuck in traffic, but the good news of that was it gave me time to think about the things I wanted to talk about. And of course, one of those is, the main thing is about how lucky we all are and the good things in life. Now, of course, you may be saying, hang on a minute, Richard, it ain't so good. There's a hosepipe ban coming, for example. And I think to myself, aren't we lucky that we've got all this wonderful sunshine, that we are, I don't believe, as you know, in man-made global warming. But if the planet is slightly warming up a little bit, because it just does, that is a sort of natural thing, that's going to be better than it cooling down and freezing too much. If we have over here lighter winters, I'm all for it. If we have nice long summers, I'm all for it. It is lovely to see the sun. The sun gives out that free vitamin D. And when you've got these silly viruses running around, the best thing you can do is absorb as much of that sunlight as you can. Obviously, just be a bit cautious if you're somebody whose skin burns. But we are, at the end of the day, mostly relatively sensible people. So we know not to sit in the midday sun for hours and hours and let it burn. But it's a very good thing for you, the sun. What else have we got to be happy about in this wonderful world? Well, we've got things like this. We have this alternative media, which I know there's a lot of bad stuff about alternative media and that people are being told what to think, or they've got to try and dress or make themselves as beautiful as possible, and so they panic that they're not 100% right and they go off and have surgery and all those sort of nonsense things. But also we have people who can give us entertainment, often for free, or we can support those people that give us entertainment out of our own will, rather than, say, with the BBC licence, where if you want to have a television and watch live streaming stuff, you've got to pay come what may, whether you're watching the BBC or any other channel. So there's a blessing in things like the internet that we have. We have information at our fingertips. Of course, we have to discern which is the correct information or what information is going to suit us, but it means we no longer have to traipse all the way up to the library. Now, I am somebody who does like, as you know, some of the old-fashioned ways of doing things, but the thing is, we can still do that if we want to. We don't have to fulfill everything that's in the modern way if there are certain things that you just think is a little bit disagreeable. One of the things about being stuck in traffic is you're stuck. And it does allow you time to think. You get frustrated, you can, oh, come on, we must get on and all that. Or you can take the opposite angle and think, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm just going to sit back and look out of the window at nature and the world around me. And I was doing a bit of that as well. I mean, yes, I was bumper to bumper, slowly approaching Arundel, where it seems to be continuously busy. But at the same time, it was nice just to have a look at the greenery of the trees and the brown of the fields where people have been out, well, mainly farmers or contractors, I suppose, have been out there harvesting, because it is that time of the year when the harvest is being done. And it's quite remarkable. Sometimes you see these people working on the land, and one can remark, years ago, there would have been a whole army, families would have been out there, and now it is quite remote. I saw a trailer with a whole load of hay on it, and I looked at that and I thought, I suppose the way of doing things today with the machinery and all of that is, of course, a lot more cost effective, and with the hay bales on this, or straw, whatever they were, I think they were straw actually, on these big trailers, which would be hitched up to a tractor and then taken and probably stored in a barn somewhere. A lot easier to keep the vermin from out of the straw by being up above wheels, I guess, than it used to be in the old days when they had to make haystacks and thatch the roof. Although there's something rather romantic about the old way of doing things. Of course, it's not as streamlined or as quick or as efficient as it is these days with the machine, but there was still something that is quite romantic about it. But whether we should do it or not, I don't know, really. It's a way of life, and that's a different debate. But what the stuck in traffic did was gave me a moment, a window to cogitate about the countryside and think about things instead of just hurling myself along. So I want to know from you, what things do you actually celebrate in this world today? We always think that everything is a bit bleak and a bit bad, but there's obviously lots of good things. So I want to know from you, how do you count your blessings? Do you count them? Do you look with a half full glass attitude into life? Or are you somebody who everything seems to be on top of and there's no way out? And I know we all have those nasty bills and we all have those nasty experiences, and there's always something that's not always right. But do we ever concentrate on the good things? The mainstream media is often telling us about the grim and the bad and the horrid. But do you turn that off and say, do you know what, actually, I'm not going to? If you're unemployed, for example, you've lost a job and something really bad happens, what do you do to get through the day in between you're looking for a new job? Do you make most of the time, or do you just sit and watch the telly, or do you read? Do you improve your brain? Do you make most of the time? I remember years ago when I used to be unemployed, when I was in my teens, in between jobs, I was always up to something, always had a project on. And in the end, I found that I really had no time to actually do any work for other people, that I was too busy trying to create my own career and my own employment. And so I kept myself busy. I was very highly motivated, as indeed I still am. And I find that if you've got that idea that there's always something to look forward to, there's a reason to get out of bed, if only to see the early morning sunlight, to see the dawn breaking, to hear the birds chirping. I was listening to something the other day, and they said, the things that are best in life are those that are free. The sunlight, the wildlife around you, a walk in the countryside, free and inspiring and motivating, instead of perhaps all those things that you actually have to pay money for. But you may disagree, and of course you're very welcome to disagree. But I want to know, what is it that gets you going? What do you see to celebrate in this world at the moment, when we've got all these other nasty things supposedly coming down that sometimes doesn't actually ever happen? Have you noticed that? Some of these things, this man-made global warming, we're all going to die, it goes on for so long, and actually you keep going, well, where is it then? When's it actually going to happen? What do you celebrate? Let's have a look at the comments then from the previous videos and see what you're saying. Rich M says, I like food for its own taste. I can't stand mayonnaise salad cream, HP sauce, tomato sauce and relishes. I do like a good relish, actually. And I have to say a big thanks to Nigel Sadler, who on my birthday, whilst we were away camping, and the video's yet to come out, he bought me some lovely little relishes, and I've been eating those on crackers with cheese. Delicious. I do like them. Anyway, he carries on. Rich M says, well, I don't like all these things unless it's integral to the recipe, such as curry or bolognese. Why is food like salad or a burger even smothered in it when it's something you can add yourself? Well, I always wonder that, why you can't buy a sandwich without mayonnaise in it. It does strike me as being a bit weird, because not everybody, surely, I can't be the only one who doesn't like mayonnaise. Sue Harrison says, and we met Sue. Hello, Sue. Nice to see you again. Met Sue the other day, actually. It was lovely. Had a nice conversation and a good old chinwag. Well, that was the same thing, really. We had a breakfast and a nice chinwag with her hubby, Tony. She says, hello, how lovely of you both to give us a mention. It was lovely to meet you. There we go. You're both such lovely people. Thank you very much. Met Julia as well, you see. We really enjoyed our day in Worthing, being by the sea too. It is lovely by the sea, I have to say. Happy belated birthday, only a few days after Tony's birthday. Yes, lovely, isn't it? Birthdays, I mean, they can... to a certain degree, get you a bit down because you've aged a bit. But we're aging every single day, and it is only a number. And it can give you, I don't know, sometimes it can give you a good lift. Pauline says, with age, I seem to have done the opposite to you. I need more spices for flavour. Oh, it's interesting. Although I don't need lots of sauces to enjoy my food. When I was younger, I used to eat so much rubbish, but now I make everything my family eats from scratch. And we have noticed on the odd occasion that we have a takeaway, we never eat it like we used to do, and we feel that it has no flavour. Yes, I do worry, I mean, not too much, but people do take a lot of takeaways, don't they? And they gobble them up, and I do wonder if there is that much flavour, or whether the flavour is so artificial in order to create the urge and the desire for it in the first place. Whereas I think food in its basic state is actually very appetising and delicious. But we have been grown up with processed food and artificial flavours that enhance that food flavouring. And sometimes the nuances of real food is so badly hidden that we never really know what, say, a piece of chicken actually tastes like. Nigel Lacey says, I'm afraid people today are generally overfed and undernourished. I think that's very true. I avoid any processed food as it's so full of sugar, chemicals and general nasties which the human body is simply not designed to process. This, I believe, is the big reason why so many are overweight and suffer from disease. Do you know, I absolutely agree with you, Nigel. I think you're so right. Until processed food came along, people were eating much more simply. They may not have got the full range of vitamins and minerals, depending on where they were able to eat and what was in season and all of that. But they certainly weren't getting overweight from all that processed additional sugar and enzymes and various things that are unnecessary that are going into the food. So, yeah. He goes on to say he also finds that fasting is beneficial as there's simply no reason to eat 3 times a day, as has been indoctrinated into most of society. So there we are. Yes, now I've tried a bit of fasting, and I don't have a fast rule about fasting, but I do try not to eat after 6:30, something like that, although occasionally I do. So I don't chastise myself if I accidentally eat a bit longer than normal. I just generally try to eat healthily throughout the day, and then as the evening comes, not so much, and particularly a few hours before bed, not at all, and then try to eat later in the morning. It works for me. Everybody will have their own way of doing things depending on their daily pattern, I suppose. And Linda Kane says, I will eat most things, only a handful of foods I'd rather not have. I'm willing to try most things. Hated sprouts, but now love them. Eat less salt, but love olives, which are brined. I can't say that I like olives. I love cooking with olive oil, but I just really can't get the taste of olives or indeed pineapple. They're two of the sort of fruity things that I really struggle with. Prefer savoury to sweet. Yes, I think I agree with you there. And she says, I agree, coleslaw, which I love, but prefer homemade with a minimum mayonnaise. I make my own coleslaw. I do use a bit of salad cream because I like vinegar. But I don't like mayonnaise because it has raw egg in it. Cheese, cucumber, salad, and cream, and Marmite cucumber sandwiches are very good. Yes, Marmite is nice. I like that. Shirley Lynch says, my palate has changed. I eat more vegetables and less chocolate biscuits, which is brilliant news. Well done. Trying more... that sounded a bit condescending. I apologise for that, but I do mean well done for doing that. Trying more vegetarian meals as well now. I'm into cooking with courgettes, which I never realised are so tasty. I shove courgettes in a lot of sort of broths, soups, and indeed, if I'm doing anything like a bolognese or a chili, I shove in a lot more vegetables than I would meat. And mostly I cook now, instead of having meat, although I do occasionally have meat, but mostly I use pulses, those dried beans. And I've just been given a pressure cooker, which I'm desperate to try out. Instead of having to boil them for so long, put them in a pressure cooker, and that I gather they'll be much softer. Vintage News says, excuse me, weirdly, I have gone off and rediscovered coleslaw several times. I do like it. My version of coleslaw is red onion, cabbage, carrot, and a little bit of lemon, and then a bit of salad cream to mix it up. There's probably a better cream solution I could make up rather than the commercial salad cream, of course. I like a bit of the vinegar, but so I need to investigate that just to improve it even further. And Stephanie Evans, to finish off on this, says, I'm 70, and as a child, I used to put 6 teaspoons of sugar in a cup of tea. 6! Can you imagine that? 6 teaspoons of sugar. I once came out in a horrendous rash after putting so much sugar on some strawberries. My mother thought I was ill. Now I have a very much more liking for savoury items, but I do love chocolate and chocolate cake, occasionally as a treat. I'm a retired carer and found those clients of mine who sadly had dementia went wild for anything sweet and could always be tempted with ice cream and sweet things. In fact, when I was looking after my dad, who generally used to like savoury things, he did suddenly go for a lot of sweet things in the times when he had his dementia, the last 2 years of his life, which is a shame. And as Stephanie says, her clients, they normally turn their nose up at anything healthy. I hated anything salad related when young, but now I love it. It's funny how our tastes change, isn't it? But it's good that generally it seems our tastes change for a more healthy the older we get, when we probably need that healthier food than ever before. Loads more comments there to have a look at. Thank you so much for adding them. I want to know, what do you get up and celebrate in life? Are you somebody who is looking at things through rose-tinted glasses? The glass is half full. What things in life are you thankful for? What gets you going? And we'll read out some of your comments in tomorrow's show. Thanks for watching for this one. Till next time, bye-bye.